go down.
Lovely pass, and here he turns cleverly. Can he find a finish? Oh, he can!
Skilled by Joshua, and a return right hand. Good counter right. Bullen is hurt. Second right hand. That clipped him as well. Now he goes in for the kill.
It's about to go down.
Lovely pass, and here he turns cleverly. Can he find a finish? Oh, he can!
Skilled by Joshua, and a return right hand. Good counter right. Bullen is hurt. Second right hand. That clipped him as well. Now he goes in for the kill.
Well, Ricciardo is inching into the lead, and Ricciardo that win the Italian Grand Prix!
Iguodala running the floor.
Still leading the way with Canada in there too, with the Netherlands.
Musa makes it 4 goals in 2 World Cup matches.
The Monaco Grand Prix! Ricciardo triumphant in Monza.
Through Bowden, Barrett, and an early touch and an excellent...
Sports Orbit. We make the world go round.
Hello, viewers out there. You're welcome to Sports Orbit, reaching from Leadership TV. My name is Afa Acho. Salifu Usman is right here with me. Salifu, welcome once again to Sports Orbit.
Thank you, Afa. So this is my pleasure.
Yes, on today's edition of Sports Orbit, we'll begin straight from the NFF. Yesterday, we spoke extensively about what's going on in the NFF, but we all know the elections are fast approaching, so as the weeks roll by, of course, there will be plenty of stories emanating from that. And of course, coming from the Pinnick, where he has come out to say that I have no plans to run for third term as NFF President. Amaju Pinnick has declared that he won't be running for a third term after his tenure expires this year. Recall that the former chairman of Delta FA was elected in 2014 and his tenure will end next month. Pinnick, who is also a member of the FIFA Executive Council Committee, has been rumored to be interested in continuing his stay in office. In a chat with some media outlets during the week, the former CAF vice president stated that he will only be in a position to intervene, not interfere during the process of electing a new president. He said, "There are so many Nigerians capable of being there. I will assist and work with anyone who wins the elections and emerge as president." The channel spoke on Monday. That I promise I will intervene, but I will not interfere. So Salifu, your man has finally come out to say that yes, in as much as he's interested in elections, he will intervene as being the current man in charge, but in no way he will interfere. And it's good that he even stated that yes, there are a lot of qualified people who can hold that position. Is it now that he's knowing that there are lots of qualified people who can hold that position?
Thank you, Alpha. But first, I want you to do me a favor while withdraw that. Say your man.
He's not your man.
No, such a person cannot be my man. Somebody has not added drag out to this level.
Okay, I take my word back.
Yeah, they have to take it back. People cannot be my man. Because there's nothing to celebrate with him. He's always after himself and after himself. He has been the only thing he has gained in the last 8 years to build himself and increase his high profile at the detriment of Nigerian football. Well, for him to say that I have no plan to run for a third term, I totally disagree with him. He has a plan. He was desperate for it. Yeah. But he's seen the handwriting on the wall that yes, he's become a low man in the race, and they put the pressures on him. He has to step down. For him to say that they have no plan, it's just that the Nigerian this time resisted that no, no to him. If by mistake somebody has even because it's what facing the south, he couldn't smile. He couldn't see any face smiling to him. Looking at the north, no face was smiling towards him. Go back to the south, any four corner of the country, nobody was smiling to him. Buy into his idea. If you have seen even two people out of the 44 member Congress, I was okay. Well, we are behind you. Pinnick could have still pushed forward, and it's because of his desperation that take us to the where we have to now that we don't even know when and where the election is going to. Where we know that Pinnick have less than 25 days to leave office. Less than 35 days to leave office.
Yeah.
So, but it's good that just like I said yesterday, I commend Nigerians for this time to say no, and we have to maintain this kind of stand. When we see somebody that is not performing, we don't apologize. Yes, he's evidently qualified. The status are still allow him to contest. But what we are saying, what has he brought to Nigerian football in the last 8 years? Yeah. Absolutely no. You can only aim to continue when you are doing well. For instance, Jordan of South Africa was elected for another top 10, and people can see the work. People can see how South Africa is growing. Today, the ranking of Africa Club League was yesterday. No Nigerian club make top 20.
Very
this is quite unfortunate. Yeah. Out of 200 clubs in the FIFA ranking, no Nigerian club make top 200. Make top 200. So it's quite distant, and you claim you are the president of Nigerian football, and you see that Nigeria within Africa contest. Within African contest, they are listing 20 clubs, and no Nigerian club can find a way to make among the top 20 clubs. So, and no matter how you argue it, you can't even force the ranking, because obviously there's no any way you can say we are among the top 20 clubs in the world. When last we won Africa, we can't even compete in the CAF competition. We can't even make competition. The Champions League, even the competition we couldn't even make to the last eight or last eight. So how will it make be among even the club that were formed within the last decade? Are within the top 20 in Africa, but we have Nigerian clubs who are there for decades, for years. Club like Enyiba, club like River United, club there for many clubs we have in this country. None of them, even shooting stars who are there before some of us were even born, can't fall into the top 20 of the club of the African ranking club, and you claim yourself a president of Nigeria. Shame when I see that ranking yesterday. Shame to the like of Sheikh Diko.
Yeah,
who has been the shadow of league management for the last
since that body was founded, actually.
No, it was first Odukai Rabo, but Sheikh Diko has succeeded. Sheikh Diko has been in charge for the last 10 years.
Yeah, I agree.
For almost 10 years now, and you have been in charge, and the league you manage, no club can from that league to fall into the 20. But my prayer is that this forthcoming NFL election to provide opportunity to flush all these people out.
I was actually going there.
To flush all these people out so we can have new vibrant people, new people who have genuine, who can take forward, not people that can take for themselves, but people can take forward for the benefit of Nigeria. But the people, the like of Pinnick, are always taking for themselves.
I mean, like you said completely, I hope with these new elections it will bring out new crop of. You see, when Pinnick was coming in 2014, there were high hopes because seeing some of the things he had done in Delta FA, yes, he didn't do too badly. And because of his connection with the private sector, some of us thought that, okay, since he's coming from the private sector, someone who understands how the corporate sector works, and he was going to come with a lot of, sponsors. Craving for some new blood into the system, that people won't come in and get into the system and get corrupted by the system or not being able to properly perform. That's another thing, because like he said, I'm happy he said this. He said there are many Nigerians capable of being the NFF chairman.
Capable. He was not even capable. He was just after himself.
Exactly. So I really hope that for people vying this office, they come up, and by the time you're doing, not even before your first tenure ends, at least when you're celebrating your first year in office, we should start seeing some changes,
some directions, new directions
in the country. Exactly.
Yes, Alpha, thank you very much. I quite agree with you. And just like you say, this election provide opportunity. I will pray that it shouldn't be an opportunity to build another person, to just build an individual, but to build an institution that will grow the game of football. Got a situation if we fall into another trap of building another individual like Amaju Pinnick and not institution, then we'll be doomed for it. So we pray that whoever I go to my prayer and our plea, me and you don't have a right to vote. We don't have a right to decide who will become the next NFF President.
Fight for. Ordinarily, we are supposed to even be able to vote.
So we can. The only thing how we have the voice and we can only speak and plead to those who have the right to select and to talk to their consent, to ensure that let them put their personal interests aside and determine in the interest of Nigeria for the first time speak for the interest of the benefit of football and ensure that who matter most and who is interested in the development of this game emerge. Because you can't claim to be Nigerians. It's also a shame for all of us if you're a Nigerian and the ranking of African football is released. And in the top 20, you can't find any Nigerian club in the top 20. It's a serious shame. And in Africa, as a country, we out of Africa Cup of Nations, when Egypt has already won the title 7 times, Ghana has won it 4 times, Cameroon has won it 5 times, but Nigeria is still celebrating, pride himself as a giant of Africa just for 5 times, just for 3 titles.
In fact,
we need to move forward.
In the ranking of local clubs, Nigeria doesn't even have an excuse not even being in the top 5.
Top 5, for goodness sake.
Top 5. I mean, not even top 10.
We should be in the shadows to shoulder with when Egypt is not having 3 clubs in the top 20. Exactly. Tunisia is having, South Africa has 2 clubs in the top 20. Even minor club like Sudan are having club in the top 20. Country that you never expect that they have a football.
A country like Sudan. Anyway, let's move on from that now to the under-20 Women's World Cup, where Falconets midfielder Esther Onyenezide says the team is battle ready for every position at the FIFA under-20 Women's World Cup ongoing in Costa Rica. According to her, she said, "We are the giants in Africa and fear no other team. We've trained an unbelievable amount, and if you look back at qualifying, then we have every right to be confident out here whenever we play. We want to show the world that we are not just big in African terms, but that we can beat any other team." The Falconets, of course, will take on Canada in their final group game early hours of Wednesday, that's true, Thursday. So some people are saying the Falconets are beginning to sound overconfident. They're saying that we have the capacity to beat any team in the competition.
Yes. In as much as I agree with Esther,
yes,
I like their enthusiasm. I like confidence. They are so confident and they have proved that they have what it takes to win the title. But one thing I wanted to appeal that they should just concentrate and remain focused, not to talk too much, not to do too overconfident. I believe that
take every game as it comes.
I believe there's a psychologist with the team camp to talk to this player and not allow the first 2 victories to get into their head. Because when you begin to sound that yes, beating France and beating the case South Africa that you have arrived, you can step on any tools. That means you are making
completely underrated
every other team. They have to take every game and still see themselves as an underdog as they was, and they both continue to play the surprise. Already they have announced their presence in the tournament, and any team that is coming against them will be very worried mindful of them. So it's left for them to just remain focused and maintain the way they are maintaining discipline, remain disciplined, remain focused to ensure that they continue to play this one. But when you begin to sound too much overconfident that there's no any other team in the tournament again, that will be a big deal. We have expressed this a lot.
I wanted to even say that. I mean, we all know what happened to Super
Eagles. So we have expressed this a lot. Exactly. So Esther, yes, good, you scored the winning goal against South Korea, but mellowed and cooled down. Let the whole team to remain focused. To me, you have achieved not yet.
Yeah. No,
you have not. It's not winning this beating France and beating Saturday does not mean you have achieved nothing yet. Exactly. So until you are able to raise your hand on the golden goal, then you can talk to the high heaven and everybody will listen. But for now, congratulations for what you have done so far. But at least mellow down, cool down, and concentrate and remain focused until for the next match and continue to pick the game after the game until you get to the final match.
I mean, I totally agree with you. I mean, and Nigerian teams are fond of when you go for a competition, you win your first 2 games,
Yes.
and you
And at the same- and at the
even
same-
recently, even the Nations Cup, we also
Yes.
what will happen.
At the Super Eagles, yes.
Exactly.
When we begin to see Super Eagles, as they say, they're going to play the final.
Yes, I
against
mean, winning your first 3 games, and you was
So
like,
even the Egypt will beat in the first match when we are separated.
exactly.
Egypt played the final where we are back home in the second round.
Mm.
So Esther should cool down, and his likes with his colleagues and his team, all of them should cool down. And I said I also appeal to the media personnel, not overhype this
team
yet.
Yes.
Yes, 2 victory against France
Yes,
and
good
South
one,
Africa
yes.
is worthy of
Exactly,
celebration,
exactly,
but not overhype the team and let this not get into their hands.
Because when you begin to do that, you even begin to raise expectations of Nigerians.
Yes.
I mean, don't forget that this is women's football. Then it's not the African Championship; it's the World Cup.
Yes,
there are a lot of tough teams out there in the world.
Even the tactical know-how. Now
exactly,
you have announced your president. You have
exactly.
exposed yourself to other opponents.
Exactly.
Now, if whoever is coming against you, need to go a very diligent work against you before they come out. They face you on the field.
All right. This point will go on a quick break, and when we come back, Sport Orbit continues. Don't go nowhere.
For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.
Sports Orbit. We make the world go round.
All right, welcome back from that break. You're still on to Sports Orbit. Now to some basketball, where the Tigers head coach Mike Brown has invited 15 players to come ahead of the 4th window of the FIFA World Cup qualifiers between August 26 and 28. After the 2020 Olympics, the likes of Josh Okogie of Phoenix Suns, Mike O'Neill, who last played for Utah Jazz, and Ike Mwamu with BC Samara of Russia have all returned to the team. Chimezie Metu of the Sacramento King, who was part of the team during the last phase of the qualifiers in Rwanda, got an invitation alongside Uchenna Oregu, Mike Okiki, that's for Gombe Bulls, Michael Oguines, Saint Chamond of France, Ben Emelogu, Rennes Metropole Basketball of France also, and Kenneth Kate Omoyere, who plies his trade in Sweden. The others are Ibe Abuchi Agu of the Nigerian Customs, alongside other compatriots like Mike Binije of Oklahoma City, Amanze Egezeke of Kataja, Finland, John Matthias Idu, Kano Pillars, Christian Mekolu of Zaragoza in Spain, and Abdul Malik Abu, that's Wolfsburg of Germany. The team's opening game will be against Cote d'Ivoire on Friday 26 before facing Guinea a day after on Sunday 28 when the team will square up against Angola. Currently the 4th on the table in Group E after 2 wins in 4 games. The team will hope to hit the ground running in its quest to book a successive World Cup ticket to the 2023 World Cup, which will take place from August to 25th, 10 in Japan, Indonesia, and the Philippines. So the qualifiers for the World Basketball is back, but once again, from some of these names I'm seeing, our usual, the the guys who have always, held the fort for the Tigers, a lot of those names are missing here.
Yeah, even when you're reading the names, a lot of those, a lot of the
Don't ring a
familiar
bell.
faces are not there.
Yeah.
But you can't. It is also another a good way. You can't continue to depend on one set of the players, like the diversity of Nigerians. We are a country of over 2 million people, so we can't just to say we rely on a 12 set of players forever. But the beauty is that we have three home-based players in the squad. That is a complete departure from the past. And thanks to Mark the Ball Championship that give an opportunity for those home-based players to reawake their career. And now we are beginning to see some of them be invited to the national team. Now that's what is done. And also that is what some of the teams we urge the Amaju Musakida, the supposing NFF President, because since he's supposing that he has been given the mantle to steer the leadership of the Nigeria Basketball Federation after the crisis and all this, and even though the crisis is still very much because God, there's no clear who helps you as the president of the Nigeria Basketball Federation, but the fact that the minister have recognized him, so be it. But since that, then we have not all we hear about the basketball. It is when there's a qualifier. It's when there's international competition. We have not seen any program rolled out for the development of basketball in the league, in the local, in the domestic scene. Nothing. Musakidas and his crew have no any program for the development of basketball. You only have basketball or Musakida when there's a competition to go and compete outside. But sport is not about competition. It's not about just assemble players, drop into the flight, or inviting players from their various where they are based anywhere in Europe or Asia or any around the continent, and then drop into the flight and just go and play the competition. It's about a consistent program being laid down at home to develop globally the game of basketball. If not for the program like Mark the Ball Championship, the three players you mentioned from the Gombebu, from the Kano Pillars, and from the Naira Council would have found their way into the team. Even though if they let him, they put down him just to appease some people, but at least we see them there. Even though those players they travel with the team, even though either they get to play or they get to play, it's still an opportunity for them to give them an opportunity to expose themselves and also learn from those who are coming to play. But Musaki, that since they suppose him say they are being recognized, up to today, we have not seen release any single program as concerned the development of basketball. We can't grow a game when only interested in those who want to compete outside.
Absolutely, I agree with you because it shouldn't look like the NBBF just exists strictly for the Tigers.
For the Tigers and Tigers.
Exactly.
For goodness sake.
Competition is on. That's when you hear of the NBBF. Apart from that, nothing.
And after this, now they'll go into until another competition come up again.
We haven't heard of modalities. We are supposed to be hearing
how the league is going to start.
Not, it looks like Mark the Ball has become our informal league as it stands. But now you're supposed to be planning of how are we going to resuscitate the league. We're not hearing anything but competition. Once there's competition, that's when you know that okay, there's an NBBF.
Okay, the other time you claim there's a case in the court. Since the ministry give you a recognition, this is over 3 months now. You have all the time in the world to plan for something. Up to today, there's no any single program to say, okay, the league is going to start today, or it's not going to start, or this is what we are doing, or this. Nothing. You only have say when there's competition, you release a list or a list of the player to invite them from all over the world and to go and converse with somebody and they jump into the plane to go and complete. NBA is not just like you say, for the Tiger and Tiger to go outside and competition and go and compete. It should be a program domestically to grow the basketball. There are millions of Nigerians who are interested in the game. There are a lot of talent who are being wasted here.
All right, to some volleyball now, where I was talking about the African under-21 men's nations volleyball, where Nigeria has defeated Morocco 3-0, that's 25-12 in 3 sets, 25-16 and 25-20 in their first match at the ongoing under-21 men's African volleyball championship going on in Tunisia. Nigeria sent a strong signal in the first set, leading 7-0 before Morocco got a point off the Nigerian side. The former under-19 champions won the North African side 25-12 points with 13 points different. With this, the head coach of Nigeria's under-21 men's team, Sani Mohammed, expressed delight over the performance of his team against Morocco And he said the team will not be carried away with the win against Morocco, adding that the target is to qualify for the 2023 FIBA Under-21 Men's World Championship. So, I mean, good one for volleyball. At least we know that when it comes to volleyball, Nimrod has been, without a question, we know Nimrod, this team actually departed over the weekend while Nimrod had to see them off. And when they were leaving, he actually said he had high expectations for them. Yeah. Also, and there's no surprise at all. I mean, his leadership capability of the volleyball when it comes to has never been in doubt at all. He has
never been in doubt. At least he's second to none.
Yeah.
No has done perfectly well in the trade to create awareness the game of volleyball, and this one developed the game of volleyball. And the victory against Morocco is a sweet one. To me, it's a sweet one. Even let us assume they don't even win any match before they come back in. That victory against Morocco to me is a complete sweet one, because having Morocco is one of the best playing volleyball. North African, when it comes to volleyball, you can't match them. But for them to win all the way to them and beat the Morocco in their first opening match, I think they should rest onward, and they should ensure that they should also prove that the victory against Morocco also take a flow and continue that momentum. Because Nimrod has invested a lot, and those the player need to reciprocate and at least showing this. The only way to say thank you for what you have done for volleyball is to continue winning, so that the man can be pleased that his investment is working.
Yeah. I mean, I completely agree with you, and congratulations to the boys. And like the coach rightly said, he said he's ensuring that this victory does not get into their head.
Yes.
I mean, they need to keep their feet on the ground and confront the other games as they come. Anyway, away from that now to some transfer news where we had spoke about Sadiq Umar, I think, last week, but looks like his move to Villarreal is gradually becoming a reality, with, from what we're hearing, Villarreal are ready to pay 30 million euros to ensure that they, bring him over to the team. Recall that Sadiq has been in good form for Almeria in the Serie B, and after helped them actually to even gain promotion to the Serie A, and looks like now it's time for him. Yeah, exactly. It looks like now it's time for him to take that crucial big step in his career by going to a more formidable side, a bigger side, if you ask me, and a team where at least from there it can only be upward for him in his career.
Yes, I agree with you. A bigger move indeed, and at the same time, he's going to a club that has a very good coach in the person Unai Emery. Yeah. And Unai Emery has done well with Villarreal. He's come back to Villarreal, taking them to the Champions League, or get to the semi-final of the Champions League. So it's a career boost for Sadiq Umar. We can't wait for him to sit down. We can't wait for him to begin to do the set of Villarreal and then play along with his compatriot. So we'll be glad to see the attacking forward of the Villarreal being led by two Nigerians with the attack Sadiq Umar as a point strikers, and then Usuku play from the wing. That will be very, very a perfect one combination for Nigeria, and it will also be a good one for the Super Eagles, because if those players cement their relationship and they begin to understand themselves, from that chemistry within their club level and play well. Whenever they come to the national team, they will be easily flow of the attacking football in the national team, and that will benefit all. So we can't wait for him to see this through, and we pray that he will pray for him to stay off injury free, and so he can hit the ground running in Villarreal. Good one, and we'll pray for him.
And I mean, this transfer window particularly has been very good for
Nigerian players.
For Nigeria, and not just this transfer window, but in recent times, you see, after the 94-96 set, where we had a lot of Nigerian stars in big clubs, there was a point where you could hardly
see them in the average club.
Exactly. You see Nigerian players playing in some very obscure leagues at a point for a long time. But in the last 3, 4, 5 years, a new generation of Nigerian players have sprung up who are playing in very good leagues, very good clubs.
Yes.
I mean, if you look at the current Super Eagles players, almost all of them are playing in a good league or a good club.
Yes.
But at a point, there was a time when they completely disappeared off the radar.
Completely disappeared. After the generation of the Kamnungako, Yakuba Igbenis, and all of them, apart from
and we could see how that even affected our football. Yeah.
But now we have them, a lot of them in the Premier League. At least we can count almost about 5 to 6, 7 of them playing about six or seven.
Exactly.
About 5 or 6 or 7.
Like 2 or 3 in the Serie A currently.
2 or 3 in the Serie A currently, and then even in the Spanish league now we're talking about 3 or 3. this guy.
He plays in this.
Mwakale is playing in La Liga B.
Yeah.
So that is a good one. If you come to the French League One, even though there's so much Simon who is also trying to move from there, going to the he also play in a very tough club in a French League One. To me, just like I quite agree, you agree. It shows that yes, we are growing the players, and we hope that this will benefit our players. But the one thing, the only area that we don't have our player in the top very big club is the defending. It is a defending department. It's a defending department. Apart from the Wilfred Udidi, who is a holding midfielder, who is playing the top club, all our defenders are not too very there in the top club and playing in the top league. That is the only way. To Ekon, who's supposed to be playing the big league, unfortunately get relegated. Even at Watford, he was not even getting regular play, and I get relegated to the second division. I think that is where we have more challenge, and the owners on the SRO and his technical crew to begin to look inward on how to build a defense. Because it's like we are lacking in that area very well. But for the attacking and for the midfield, we have some players who are doing well at the top club across the Europe.
Well, finally, before we go to the studio, go to the EPL, where the last game for match week 2 was played yesterday, and that was between Liverpool and Crystal Palace. But against all expectations, Crystal Palace actually held Liverpool to a 1-1 draw in that one. Of course, and in that match, also Nunes was also sent off after headbutting a Crystal Palace player, in that one. But it was 1-1. Liverpool not starting too strong. Liverpool also have just 2 points from 2 games as it is. But yeah, exactly. But like people will say, these are still early days. It's still the Premier League is not a sprint, but a marathon.
It's a marathon, and still early days, and it's still early for anybody to cut short to say I'm not there. You can't celebrate that at all, or you can't more that at the bottom of the table. Yeah. So it's still just starting. But for Nunes is just coming to the league, and he has to be very careful the way he plays the Premier League. Premier League is a different ball game together. Whatever where we are come from, so he has to calm down and understand the nitty-gritty of the game in the Premier League. So because sometimes the club at the middle level or the club at the lower level can hurt you, and you have to be very careful the way you react to emotional feeling on the pitch.
Completely agree with you. And maybe that's where we draw the curtain on today's episode of Sports Orbit. Tomorrow we'll bring you another exciting and refreshing package. Salifu, once again, thank you for being in the studio.
Thank you.
Right tomorrow until come your way again. Stay safe out there, and it's goodbye for now.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.